record, and True did beat Zest recently, 3-1, which is probably the biggest thing that I'm hanging off looking at the matchups lately. I mean, Ruin hasn't really had much exposure versus Zerg lately, so I'm kind of questioning how he's doing exactly. But yeah, I'm pretty confident with True.
I, on the other hand, went for Ruin. I mean, he's doing so well here at Pro League. And I feel like True has to get a couple more of those big wins to really prove it to me that he's doing really well. I feel like Rune, especially with the momentum that Incredible Miracle has and the practice regimen, whatever they're doing in the house right now is really working for them. I'm gonna back this guy.
Yeah, not a bad choice. I went with True myself just based on his results against Zest, especially. That just shows that shines out to me very brightly, much bigger than what Rune has accomplished recently. But his momentum is hard to ignore. The very first map will be King Sejong Station, a great map for this matchup. We see it all the time. Love to watch it. Really curious to see how True's going to play. He's normally got a very aggressive style. Let's jump into game number 1 of this very important match between Jin Air Green Wings and Incredible Miracle.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom right, in the green for the Jin Air Green Wings, the Zerg player, he is True.
And up to the top left in blue for Incredible Miracle, it's Ruin. Got a little bit of a grin there. We saw in the chat, in the lobby, right before they were alternating smiley faces and frowny faces.
He's like, why am I more nervous for this match, more so than the playoffs?
Yeah.
Because this gets you to the playoffs, obviously.
Well, you know, the finals and the playoffs, they could be pretty nerve-wracking, but we got to get there first. And just looking at this, I want to mention, got some fans here in green
Save
shirts.
the air, green supporters.
Probably Jin Air fans, I would guess. It's a reasonable assumption to make. So going into this one, let's talk about Ruin, or rather, let's talk about True. I want to talk about him because he's known in Korea for being like the runaway train Zerg. That's what they call him. I called him the Peter Pan Zerg because he would never really play late game, never really graduate, never grow up to Hive. And he really loves his aggressive timings.
A lot harder on this map, especially King Sejong Station. Obviously, very long rush distance, as well as very easy to kind of make a SimCity, wall it off, and get a pretty safe third base, especially for Protoss. So we'll have to actually see him probably go into more of a later game here. Really test his macro.
He came from China, by the way.
And he was asking for carriers.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll happen, but...
Well, this map is pretty good for air, so maybe we can in the late game.
Sure. It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. Well, we got to pull first. We saw True going in there. He scouted the forwards first, so he's going to be safe here. And he's actually going to hide this drone. See if the probe is...
oh, he's waiting.
Oh, he knows.
Yep, that was smart. But, almost gets it down. Really nice micro here by Ruin, in fact, coming at just the last second. Really good insight to know that the drone was hiding. And, of course, as a result, he starts that hatchery over there. He knows that he cannot really afford a delay on that hatch, so I actually like that pre-sent drone over there.
Yep, definitely a great way to kind of avoid this sort of harassment, though. It's definitely annoying having a pylon there at this time, forcing out some extra Zerglings and a bit of a delayed natural, which is obviously the base you want to get first, considering it's closest to your main.
It looks like he's only made 2 Zerglings and has actually not rallied them, which is interesting. But
actually, we saw his first, his second Overlord not rallied either, so he needs to start rallying his main base a little bit more.
Yeah. Saw the probe after he realized how long he delayed it. He went to go check. You see if the third base was coming up. He saw it, and he backed off. He knew the Zerglings were coming out. Here he is running away.
Zerglings over here just making sure no cannons go up, no shenaniganry over there. And Overlord will come in here and check everything now in the main base. The gases are completing. And he'll want to, of course, wait for the Cybernetics core to finish before he comes back in with that Overlord to see if he can find a Stargate, a Robo, or, you know, in some crazy circumstance, maybe a Twilight Council.
Yep. I mean, yeah, around the 6-minute mark is probably the safest kind of timing you want for your Overlord to kind of fly in and try and see if it's going to be a Stargate, if it's going to be a Robo or anything else. Kind of get an impression if he's going to go for a fast third or he's going to go for an all-in. Most likely going to be a third on this map, though, because it is kind of hard to do decent timings maybe an empty third is something we see a lot for the Protoss going into Blink Stalkers.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw that from Ruin. True's style on this matchup tends to generally be fast Ultralisk and Ling upgrades early. Really loves that sort of style, fast Hive, and rushing out the Ultralisk with that. See him do that a lot in this matchup, so I'm expecting to see something like that. Even though I feel most people might argue this map is better for Swarm Hosts. What are your thoughts on that, Moonglade, actually?
Going into Swarm Hosts? Yeah, definitely the more common thing we've seen lately. Yeah, 1/1 Lings into kind of like getting map control, kind of lots of counter attacks into delayed sort of Swarm Hosts off 4 base, with kind of like the 4th base being the middle base there to kind of cut the map in half a little bit easier. Definitely something we've seen popularized, but I kind of feel like Ruin is the kind of Protoss that will do an all-in and kind of want to try and attack before that timing gets there.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Protosses have a lot of success, especially on this map, with doing those kinds of all-ins. Off a 2 base, off a 3 base, and I wouldn't be surprised either if we see Rune doing it. I mean, he's dropping down a Stargate right now, but he's also got the +1 on the way.
Yeah. Well, let's see if he wants to be aggressive with that +1 early on with Phoenixes, something we see commonly. Not as often on this map, really, but on a lot of other maps.
I want to comment the Stargate positioning right there at a Rune is very, very smart. You don't see many Overlords in that position anymore. You see it coming from the left or over here at this side of the natural. And True does not know about that Stargate.
Great Zergling here, going to spot the 3rd Nexus. If he decides to put it down before clearing it.
You know what? We could also see that Oracle +1, like 6 Gateway all in too. Don't forget, that's definitely is a possibility. Okay, he's going to at least drop the Nexus first. And once the Overlord, or rather once the Zergling is gone, you know, he might have decided to do something else, might have decided to add a bunch of gateways, not add that Nexus, but definitely intends to place it for now. Roach Warren is coming up here to super safe timing from True right now, not taking any chances, not cutting any corners here before he adds those extra drones. Now this Oracle unscouted will be kind of annoying to deal with. It should be able to get 4 kills or so. Let's see.
Yeah, no Spore Crawlers up whatsoever, so he can do some serious damage here. He's got to micro these drones. Cannot let them kind of be in range here.
And I think he's gotten 5, 6, 7. Actually,
wow.
A bit too many to allow there.
Yeah, definitely can't let that happen. You really got to pull your drones and force the Oracle to kind of attack you. Otherwise, it's just going to rack up the kills like nothing.
We saw him pump like a ton of drones after that happened. He made 11 after that happened. So he's going to have his drone count really high, but again, takes away from his army supply, and we're seeing Rune drop down this Twilight Council with that +1 about to finish here, and a bunch of gates being dropped.
Yeah, 5 gates being added right now. And again, the Oracle comes in here for some harassment. Looks like he's going to get a few more drones here, and especially gets those gas runs, even the ones that were holding gas. That hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let this happen. You got to put down spores when you see Oracle. I mean, sure, he did a lot of damage to it, but it's going to regenerate its shields, and it's going to come back again and do more damage. So if he keeps letting this happen, this Oracle can just constantly keep coming in, getting a few more kills and going out before the Queen can kill it.
And guys, we got the +2 and the blank up here. We got 6 gates in total now. I feel like Rune's going to commit to some kind of all-in off the 3 base. I mean, he is mining here. He's got 62 probes even. But we could see a lot of aggression coming out of this.
That +1 on those sentries, man, killing that Overlord off. That Overlord has been like something that he's been after this whole game. With all these gates going up, the +2, the blink, the robot for observers coming out here. Definitely looks like we are going to see some aggressive move out pretty soon. Not really going to be an all-in, and it is got a huge economy behind it. And look at this, actually, the Oracle proving to be even more useful here. Now picking off some of these Zerglings as they move across the map.
Wow. Yep. And these Zerglings are going to kind of try and take map control here now that they have speed and 1/1 on the way. So kind of the similar style we're seeing from just about every Zerg these days on the King Sejong. But I feel like he's taken a lot of damage already, especially from this Oracle that there was really no kind of reaction to. And Zergling's going to move out in the map, kind of deny any sort of pylons on the map, kind of get a lot of scouting in, but at the same time, we do have a kind of a scary timing window for Ruin if he chooses to take it.
Let's see. I mean, he's moving out. He's even got a gas probe with him here, it looks like. And this is a lot of gates. He can actually warp in so many Blink Stalkers. He's got a lot of sentries as well. If he can actually catch these Zerglings and engage them favorably, that would really hurt the defense here of True. Now, 4 Infestors are on the way, and they will pop out with the Pathogen Glands, and that would be very nice for him to have, actually, in the defense. I'm not quite sure, though, if they're going to be ready in time. I think he's going to have to lose this 4th base before that happens for sure. Nice catch on that pylon here, forcing a cancel. No warp in point just yet. There is a warp prism queued, but it's not there yet.
Yeah. We got a forward pylon really, really close to that fourth base. That's what I'm worried about for True here, because it's going to be so close to where he's attacking from. He's not really going to be able to send Zerglings behind and kill it. And we're going to see so many Warpins go on around there. It seems like the Zerglings are attacking something in the middle of the map, but he needs them over here to defend at this fourth base.
Yeah, he certainly does. He needs those Infestors right now as well. Where are they? They're out. They need to get over here. 42 Zerglings on the way here. The other pylon is cute. He doesn't snipe the probe. And in fact, he almost saves the pylon, does not trap those Zerglings. Where are the Infestors? They would be so nice to have if we could just get 1 or 2 critical Fungals here. There they are.
Yeah, Fungals are going to really be everything in this fight. They're really going to have to get a good position and a good surround with the Zerglings, but we see Ruin playing very careful, which I actually really like a lot. If he goes into Colossus from here, after sniping the fourth base, it's going to give him a follow-up timing, which could crush completely considering there's no 8 gas on the way. Zerg without 8 gas can't really match with a Death Ball in the mid-game.
Yeah, it's tough, especially, you know, when you don't have a Spire even started yet. He's going into Hive here, and with the Hive, he could try to use some Vipers to deal with the Colossi. He doesn't have a composition that really is well suited for that, in my opinion. So we'll see. These Zerglings over here, there's a lot of them. He is going to have to actually warp in a pretty big defense over here. That's so many Zerglings, 86 on the map in typical True style, man.
Yeah, and you know, he's attacking at that base over there, but look at this. A nice warp in the main. Might even snipe an Infestor. He does get that Sentry with the Force Field on the ramp, but a lot of Infested Terrans trying to come in here. A nice Fungal on that Warp Prism as well. Could focus that down.
Yeah, he can't quite grab those Sentries in there, I don't think. Well, he's at least not even attempting to. Those Force Fields, though, being a little bit annoying. This draws his entire army back. And meanwhile, he's actually moving into position on the middle of the map here, actually moving down towards that fourth base again. He might actually be able to snipe this. He's got a lot of Blink Stalkers here, 24 of them. I think he can snipe this base and get out. And the Zealots still haven't been dealt with, actually. Drew's going to have to make a tough choice here.
Yeah, this is going to be a very hard engagement. I mean, that is a lot of Zerglings and Infestors, though. He could really kill.
Oh, a good Fungal there. He's still got a good angle on the hatchery, though, and those Force Fields are excellent. He's going to have to keep placing them, though. It's a lot of Zerglings here.
So many nice Force Fields going on. He traps a lot of those Zerglings in there, but as they go down, does he have enough energy here? He's going to have to recall. Way too many Zerglings right now.
Wow, very close. Yeah, great reaction. Great army decision from True. And, I mean, Ruin not going for any Colossus whatsoever, I feel like is a bit of a mistake considering this army. I mean, no Storm, no Colossus. You need something to deal with Zerglings.
Yeah, he definitely at least needs Storm. He's going Immortals. He's been going them for a while here. The QW's adding a second row because he knows this is True style. He knows True loves to go into those Ultras on this in this matchup. But I mean, he only has 1 Immortal right now. He's only about to have a second one. But with no Storm, these Zerglings might actually just go in and overwhelm the Immortals before he even gets a chance to use them against the Ultras, before he can actually start targeting.
Yep, completely true. I mean, it's like only half the counter to this army, essentially. Like, Immortals are great and all, but they're not great against Zerglings. And with this army, it's so fragile against upgraded Zerglings and Ultras.
Well, it's just another engagement over here. Not going to go favorably here for the Zerg. Trying to break these rocks down over here. There's only 3 sentries, so eventually Ruin is going to have to break or send some better defense over there before those get broken.
Yeah, True's doing a really nice job trying to pull this Protoss army apart. He's trying to attack from both sides at the same time. He's doing a nice job over here. Not sure if he has enough units over here. The focus really for him is over here at the left side of the base. He tried to get in here, but still holding off enough with those sentries.
Oh, that's a lot of Zealots on Infestors there. If he gets some kills, oh no. Shut down.
Well, he's dealing with that harassment pretty well, and the harassment actually is still ongoing over here at the Natural. He doesn't really have much of an answer. That Immortal's in a pretty safe location, but the Zerglings are doing work. A few good Warpins at home will deny this for now. There's 1 sentry in this Warp Prism. We'll see what that gets done. Stalker's furiously working on those rocks over here because he wants to attack the Natural, but the Infestors are coming back. Bungles here again are so key. And he actually walks away. He knows that he's broken the rocks. There's another attack path later for his Zealots, but before then, not too much he can get done.
Decides to warp in here a bunch of these Zealots, but they're not going to get anything done. True just having his army in a really good spot.
Yeah, I mean, really nice kind of harassment with the Warp Prism. Something he definitely needs to do to kind of gain momentum back. And he kind of needs to, oh, that's a bad pylon. But anyway, he kind of like needs to get that 4th base down at the very least. Needs to secure it and start making an army that can actually deal with Ultra, Ling, Infestor. And I mean, Masked Stalkers, definitely not the way. Archons help a little bit. A lot more Immortals. And I still think we're missing High Templar. Finally, we got some, but a little too late. Going to need feedbacks for the Blinding Cloud, and really going to need some Storm for these Zerglings.
I feel like you're right, man. He's only got a few Archons in here. That's not quite enough. Lightning Cloud is excellent here on the Stalker Army. It forces it to blink, which means these Archons are exposed. Ling's coming to the backside, catching those Immortals, just like I was talking about before. And now with the fungal on these Stalkers, the Ultras are going to have their way here.
And a ton of Lings to support this as well, getting a full surround on so many of those Stalkers, but still holding it off with some Warpins here.
Yeah, and actually the Immortals at the front did actually survive. He had double Immortal production for quite some time, and that's really starting to show here. But the question is it enough? He held it off.
He held it off, but I mean, look at the Bank of True. He can make anything right now and remax and just come back at it.
And it's Mutas.
Oh, nice. I like it a lot, actually. Lings and Mutas, probably the perfect composition for what's out on the map so far. Really no Stargate tech on the map. You got one Stargate, but that's not enough to kind of deal with Mutas at this point.
No, definitely not. The other scary thing is these Infestors are still here, still locking this army down, still doing that extra damage. Infested Terrans being dropped here as well. There's too much DPS for dealing with these Ultras, but I think he just wants to make him more and more Immortals if he can force that, more Zealots even to deal with the Zerlings at the front. He still hasn't seen the Mutalisk at all. He has no idea. He's got no infrastructure for Stargates. He's got 2 Archons and 6 Stalkers. No Psystorm, nothing. And here he goes, now going to get his first glimpse of these Mutalisks.
Oh, and Rune looks helpless in the booth. He's like, oh my god, what? You have this many Mutas at my natural right now. Those Mutas even coming in, sniping a bunch of these cannons. The whole mineral line goes down. He's taking 2 bases at the same time.
And he just wants to engage here, try to magic box those Archons. Once they're gone, the Zerlings and the Infestors will clean everything else up. Way too much for him to handle here. And I think this might actually just be game. He's dropped down to 79 supply. Another nice snipe there on an Infestor, but it's just not enough here.
Yep, and this is exactly why True beat Zest 3-1. Complete control, really masterful play, great build order, and great army composition for exactly what he saw against.
Yep, Zerlings fighting Archons, never a pretty sight, but let's look over here to see some more Zerg success as the Mutalisks kill everything else that's left here. Unpowering those Robos will actually be able to target the Nexus down. GG!
And True does it. He takes game number 1. That was some really, really masterful ZVP, I have to say. That was great to watch.
It was definitely a good one. It was a very back-and-forth game, and honestly, I really feel like this map really works well for True's style. With how he sends his units around, he's got a good amount of harassment. He controls the map with a ton of Lings, making a massive amount of those.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the style we're seeing a lot more on King Sejong Station. We're seeing upgraded Lings kind of into map control, into tech switch, into either Swarm Hosts, or in this case, Ling Ultra Infestor, which is something that we don't see as much, but especially without a lot of Queens. We usually see a lot of Queens with this kind of army composition, but none whatsoever. But I mean, he made the right army. He didn't have to deal with Colossi. He didn't have to deal with many Archon or Storm. Pretty much just Stalker, Immortal into a few Archons, which is definitely the fall of Ruin. Yeah,
his harassment really didn't accomplish anything either, because the defense of True was just there with that mobile Zergling army. Also the Infestors he had. If you're going for a bit of a slower composition, it's much harder to defend against Zealot harassment if you don't have static defense, but he didn't even have to invest in static defense. He was totally fine against all the harassment. Doing it without any Spire units either. No Mutas, no Corruptors, nothing to deal with those Warp Prisms. Now, I've been told that we're actually going to have an interview with the Keswa CEO